How's it going, everybody? My name is Mika Alva, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Elgato Stream Deck Plus XLR. The Stream Deck Plus itself is a USB controller interface that allows streamers to physically change settings and trigger things instantly with a neat UI, which has been around for years at this point. However, we're taking a closer look at the XLR module. So the original Stream Deck Plus didn't come with an XLR input of any kind, so a lot of Elgato users went with the Wave XLR, which is Elgato's very own little XLR audio interface that also comes with Wavelink, a pretty cool software for routing and mixing. At some point, Elgato decided the two must come together and came out with the XLR dock for the Stream Deck Plus. And what I have here right now is basically a pre-assembled, readily usable unit of the Stream Deck Plus with the dock on its back. Today we're going to find out exactly how it works and, more importantly, how it can help us with music production. To give you a quick overview of the video, I'm going to cover the following topics: look, feel, and connectivity, how does it work, what can it do for musicians, and my final verdict. For the layout of the Stream Deck, we got 8 customizable LCD keys, 4 infinite rotation dials with push function, and the touch strip at the bottom. The XLR part of the unit is as simple as it gets: a single XLR input, a 3.5mm headphone jack, and a USB-C port. What's notable here is that the mic preamp features plus 75 dB of gain, and the entire unit is bus powered by only one USB cable, which already makes it more convenient than having an external audio interface. When it comes to the look and feel, the unit appears very sleek and all the buttons and knobs feel good. It's a simple design that's going to fit in both a studio and a streaming environment. Alright, so let's dive into how we can actually use this thing. I've just connected it and it should show the Elgato logo on it and nothing else. First things first, we're going to download the Stream Deck software from the Elgato Marketplace. Once installed and open, your Stream Deck is alive and should be showing you a default profile. Now, for using the XLR dock, we need a mixing software called Wavelink. This is both a standalone app for your PC and a plugin for your Stream Deck, so make sure to download both. Links are in the description. Okay, so right now we're looking at the Wavelink software, and this is going to be kind of your digital mixing console that controls everything going in and out of the XLR dock. What you have here is basically a little matrix where you can add and mix channels together. So the first channel you're probably going to set up is going to be a microphone. For example, you can name it whatever you want to. I got mine set to SM7B because that's the mic I'm using. You can see your input level here, a controller input gain, you got your phantom power, and your headphone output volume, as well as a mic and PC mix slider, so that determines what you hear more on your headphones, whether it be the PC sound or the direct sound coming from your mic. And down here you got a couple of audio enhancements like a low cut, you got a clip guard, which basically just makes sure that no matter how hard you scream into the mic, the signal won't be clipping, and a wave gain lock, because some applications do have a tendency to kind of mess with your gain a little, and this will always lock your input gain. So the faders right here are your mixing faders. You got one monitor mix and one stream mix. So the monitor mix is obviously what you hear in your headphones. The stream mix is going to be what goes out to either your stream audience or to your video recorder, as it does for me. So you can pretty much set that to any application you want the stream mix to go to, and that is going to be the signal coming out of the unit into your computer. And you can control however loud you want it to be. Like, for example, I can turn my voice down for you guys a little bit, or I could turn it down on my headphones a little bit. And down here is another really cool little add-on. This is the audio effects section. And first off, we got voice focus, which is sort of a very intelligent noise gate. And if you got a lot of background noise going on, for example, let's turn it on right quick. There's no background noise where I'm at right now, but you should hear that my voice sounds very focused. It's very in the middle, and it's kind of got a noise reduction vibe to it. And I've messed around with this feature a little bit already, and it works incredibly well. I'm actually really surprised at how good it filters out background noise. So if you got a noisy environment, this is definitely something to look into. And here's where it gets interesting, because you can't just use the stock effects that you can find on the Elgato Marketplace. You're not limited to that. You can actually hit Add Effect down here, and then you can add any plugin, any VST audio effect you may have on your computer. You can add that into your input signal. So, for example, I chose the Logic Stock Distortion, and if I open this up right here, then you see there's the plugin, and I got the plugin to fiddle with, and I can just put it on my voice just like that. And when we enable it in here, you should hear my voice is pretty distorted right now. So this is really cool for making easy and quick effects happen. Okay, so now you've set up your microphone, but how do we get more channels into this thing? Let's say you're a musician streamer and you want to get your DAW sound to your stream audience or to your video recorder, what you would do is you would add another channel. And as you can see, there's a whole lot of things to choose, like your system sound, music, sound from your browser, voice chat, your game, whatever's going on. And if you scroll down, you can also choose different devices connected to your computer. So whether that be audio interfaces, synthesizers, whatever, you could simply select that here and have it as an input to your digital mixing console. I'm going to go with music. And then right here, you can add whatever app you want to go into that channel. So I'm going to choose Logic, which is my DAW. And then I can also rename this to Logic. Simple as that. And now, when I go to Logic and play music, you can see it goes in here, and you should be able to hear this funky little bass groove. And this you can obviously do for however many channels or applications you want. You can put your browser sound in here, you could put your game sound in here, whatever you would like to be able to control. Let's say, okay, I'm playing a game, and I want the game to also be in the mix, then just boom, I would click here, add the game, and then I'm done with it. Okay, so now we got everything set up in the Wavelink software, but in order to actually get this onto the Stream Deck now and have tactile control over it, we just hit this little icon up here, and it's gonna ask us to add it to the Stream Deck. You select your Stream Deck here, hit Create Profile, and if I then click Install right here, I'm just gonna take out my phone to show you what will happen on the Stream Deck. And boom, you can see you got all of the channels that we just created in the mixing console on the Stream Deck now, and I can control the volume of it. And if I click the knob, then you'll see the little symbol right here switch. So I can actually switch between controlling the monitor mix and the stream mix. So I got everything that I might need when I'm streaming or doing like a music broadcast on the fly right here at my fingertips, and there's no more need to dive into any menus and go out of my DAW and go into digital mixing software. It's all right here, and it's so easy to customize, and I think that's really, really cool. Okay, so all of the stuff I just showed you is really cool and handy for music streamers and broadcasters, but let's find out how to use this thing as a music producer. And there's probably a lot more than you would think you could do with this thing, because if you set it up correctly, it can become the beefiest MIDI controller you've ever seen. And I just want to step into that a little bit. Let's say you want to control your DAW and control the faders and the channels on your Stream Deck on the unit itself. Then what you would do is you would hit this little thing right here, which takes you to the Elgato Marketplace. And you can search for a lot of apps in here. There's a million different apps that I encourage you to try out. But what you want to do is get the MIDI plugin. So we'll open this in the Stream Deck, and this is going to take you back to the Stream Deck app. And now on the right side for your keys and dials section, you should see this little MIDI widget right here. And as you can see, there's a lot of MIDI controls: generic MIDI, CC, program change, note on, off, sysx, pretty much whatever you want to put onto your keys. And I'm going to take the Mackie control because this is a really easy command to control your DAW. So let's just grab this and put it on whichever button we want to put it on. So let's bind it to the first one. And as you can see, we have a section and a function right here. So for the transport section, you can set it to cursor down, left, right, up, fast forward, play, record, rewind, all of those things. And let's say I just want to make a play button. So I choose the transport section, and the function is going to be play. There's a lot of different sections. You can control all your channels with it, your time display, another like whole section of DAW functions. And the important thing here is to go to layout and MIDI ports and choose the virtual MIDI in out of your DAW. For me, that's Logic Pro. So I got the Logic Pro virtual in and out selected here. And now all I'm gonna do is just name this play, and as you can see, it's gonna put it onto the little icon. We can actually go into the Stream Deck icon library and like choose a play button or create your own designs and import your own files in here if you want to make it fancy. If I now go into my DAW and I hit this play button on the Stream Deck right here, it's gonna play the music. And what we've set up here now is pretty much just scraping the iceberg of what you can do with this. I've set up a little DAW control profile that is a little more advanced. I got a play button, I got a pause button, I got a record button, and I got a button that will open up the EQ plugin because I find myself doing that a million times on every channel anyway. And down here on the knobs, I have the volume for basically the faders for channels 1 and 2. And now let's switch on over to the DAW and hook up the Stream Deck cam right here. So if we hit play, it's going to play. If we hit pause, it's going to pause. If we hit record, it's going to record. And then on whatever channel I've selected, this is audio 1, for example, if I hit the EQ button, it's going to open up the EQ on whichever channel I'm on. So that's really, really handy. Also, the volume faders work really well too. You can pretty much put as many of them as you want to in here, because at the same time, you also can create a lot of pages in here. So you could technically make your whole session be controllable on this thing if you would add the channels in here. And you can also set up a profile that would go with, let's say, your Logic templates, for example. And then once you're in the DAW and you're using the Stream Deck, you can just swipe your finger on the touchpad to switch between pages. Really, really cool, and it gives you a lot of flexibility when it comes to DAW control. So finally, here's the big question. Does the Stream Deck Plus XLR make sense for music producers? In my opinion, it absolutely does. There is so much you can control with this unit, and the software integration works incredibly well and is really easy to set up. If you take a little time, then this thing can become the beefiest MIDI controller, as I said, that your setup has ever seen. Will it replace your 16-channel recording interface? No, it obviously won't, but I don't think anyone watching this video was expecting it to. However, the preamp is up to studio standard, and it is very well usable for both vocals and for voice recordings and instruments. So I got no issues there. I think it sounds great. I think it works great. It looks great. And especially if you're someone who is a content creator or is doing music streaming, then this thing is an absolute no-brainer and will, in any situation, be able to help you out with your workflow and make it easier and quicker. And I wish that something like this would have been there when I started out like 15 years ago. I would have loved to have something like this. You can get this exact Stream Deck Plus XLR combo on Thomann. We put a link down in the description. And I want to know what you think of the unit, and if you already have one, what you use it for. Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time.